A West Bank man was told he only had a few months to live. Today, he's tearing off pages of the calendar he never thought he'd see. Is it his religious dedication, his positive attitude, his family and friendships that keep him defying the odds? It's a mystery even doctors can't explain. Sunlight spills onto tranquil greens at Timber Lane Country Club. But listen.
Cat A. Pull a pin. We don't need $10 since he ends up short.
On any given Thursday, sounds of friendship drown out the silence wherever Willie Jondron and his buddies gather.
I guess this is good enough, huh, guys? Yeah, that's good. It's good enough?
Their relationships span decades. Every meeting, a celebration.
Whoa! What am I doing in this group?
Because Willie Jondron,
Five, please. On the tee, dead man walking.
Isn't supposed to be alive.
They have some wonderful names for me at Timber Lane.
They call him the corpse, dead man walking.
One lung blankety blank.
Gotta tease him. It's not natural if you don't tease him. You know, it's that's a West Bank tradition.
Willie Jondron's story begins here on the West Bank in Marrero. He was raised right here on Jung Boulevard. Asbestos was common here long before it was found to be dangerous. It seemed to be a part of life.
You could play marbles in it. You could play cowboys and Indians in it. You can roll in it.
Willie's dad worked in a local plant that manufactured wallboard. Asbestos was part of the process.
Around this community, especially on the West Bank, there was a lot of asbestos that was being used to pave sidewalks and driveways. Playgrounds had it in there.
Jondron was always healthy and athletic, a standout in football and basketball, even a coach. But the cancer lurked all the while.
It takes 25 to 35 years to manifest before it comes out.
In April of 2002, Jondron was diagnosed with mesothelioma, a typically fatal disease associated with asbestos exposure. After the diagnosis, Jondron said a nurse on the night shift came into his room at Baptist Hospital.
She put a hand on my tumors, and she said, "Mr. Jondron," she says, "you're going to be fine. I'm your guardian angel." We never saw again.
10 months before the diagnosis, Willie had married Grace Caluette, a delivery room nurse. For these newlyweds, married life began on a note of near desperation.
And in August, we'd go to Brigham Women in Boston and have the operation to remove my right lung, the lining of the lung, half my diaphragm, the number 6 rib. They gave me 5 to 20 months to live after that. And that was August the 7th, 2002.
Jondron is a devout Catholic. Once out of ICU at Brigham Women's, he drew strength from the prayer cards that friends and family had given him. One card seemed special.
I put that prayer cards on my shelf, and when I turned the lights out that night, that picture of that Blessed Virgin Mary glowed all night long.
The power of his faith was pitted, though, against astronomical scientific odds.
Once the diagnosis is made and is producing symptoms, then the survival is fairly short.
But for Willie, months turned to years.
Everything that happened was kind of like cascading, you know, one type of miracle after another.
5 years went by with no major health setbacks. Then in the fall of 2007, Jondron began to have severe pains in his back. The feeling was the same as it had been in 2002.
They did the CAT scan. There was almost a 2-inch in diameter tumor resting on top of my liver in between the 9th and 10th rib.
And you said?
Here we go.
The tumor was malignant. This time, doctors gave Jondron 4 months to live, a year tops with intense chemo.
Every 18 days, 3 days in a row, 7 hours a day. They were giving me so much, they were pumping it in a portacaf and in an IV. I was so sick, I went down to 140 pounds. I threw up for 11 days and nights.
Jondron was withering away, but prayed that he'd live to see his first grandchild, who would be born that December. His body couldn't take the strain of any more chemo. They called Dr. Seiler.
He said, "Let's do a CAT scan. Let's see what's going on."
I had goose flesh because, you know, it's not something that in this business we often get to tell people.
It's a miracle. You know, the tumor is completely gone. And it was kind of like you wanted to believe it, but how can this be?
His CT scans that we do and MRIs, that area where the tumor originally was is completely empty of any tumor, just normal organs and no abnormalities that suggest any local recurrence.
So the tumor's gone.
We cannot see it.
How do you explain it?
Good looks, good genes, good Lord.
The grandchild Willie didn't think he'd see is 3 years old. He says he's using these gifts of more time to give to others.
If I could take one person's life and change it and put it in the right direction, if I can give one person inspiration and courage to go through and never give up and fight it and beat it, it's all worth it.
There's a big reason why he's still here today. And I think it's because he has more things to do in this lifetime.
Life is not like a card game, you know? I mean, a card game, you get a bad hand, you throw it in. When God deals you a hand, you got to play it.
The guys at Timberlane don't treat Willie like a miracle, just a friend.
We hope that we're not around when he drops on the golf course, you know, because we'd have to kick him on the side and keep on playing. But no, I've known Willie quite a few years, and he's a survivor.
So we always tease him, and I think that keeps him going too. He enjoys it as much as we do. So, and he's a pretty good guy. I mean, considering he gave us each $100 to come out here.
He wants to be playing as he has for the past several years, and he'll play every day until his last day.
You know my good friend Willie?
Oh, God, Mike.
He beat all the odds. He beat them all. He's still here. He's a little ugly, but he's still here.
Oh, God.
Half that fee will end up.
And Dr. Milton Seiler says there is evidence and studies that faith improves the quality of life for people with cancer, but he also points out the importance of vigorous therapies that Willie received. The doctor also says surgery, the medical and radiation oncology all work together to give a patient the best chance. Now, Seiler also says doctors still don't know everything about how the immune system works, but he believes Willie John has an immune system that is apparently super vigilant. He admits, though, he has never seen a case as dramatic as John in all the 32 years he's been practicing.
Yeah, I mean, on TV, he looks in perfect health.
He does, but you know what? He still has a lot of problems. He had surgery to remove his diaphragm. He lost a lung. He still sometimes has trouble breathing. He gets tired easily, but he doesn't stop. You saw him on the